You are watching Tech Confessions, created by Amy Lewis and brought to you by VMware.
Well, Ken, you are the best kind of guest because not only do you have phenomenal socks with bacon on them,
thank you.
You've actually come to us with not one but two software-defined moments.
Sure. So you want me to start now?
Yeah, I would love it.
I was telling that my first one probably occurred. I was working for an organization that virtualized somewhere around, I think, 2008, 2009, but I wasn't dealing with that kind of thing. And that day I was like, yeah, virtualization, that's cute. I'll do the real thing. And over time, it became my job with attrition, with people leaving and moving to different roles. And one day I was the VMware admin. I'm like, okay, I'll figure out how it works and maintain it. And when it came time to do the first vSphere upgrade, and I planned it out, and being able to basically perform all my maintenance without taking any services down, when I discovered how vMotion worked, and basically moving things around, I had a regular maintenance window. It was in the middle of the night because I was a good system administrator, but it didn't affect anything. And I was like, wow, this is a pretty cool technology. Why didn't I look at this earlier? Kind of moment. And I was just really excited about it. Virtualization at that point. I was just a little bit behind the curve, I guess.
No, I think right at the curve probably.
Sure.
And what was your second one?
In the job after that, I was working at a service provider, and it comes back to maintenance windows again when you have to do all kinds of upgrades and check things out. And it was they had a procedure, and it was very well documented, all the steps that you had to do step by step manually, and it worked, but it was just that, it was manual. And so I went through and figured out what things I could automate, what things I could write Power CLI or PowerShell scripts to take care of automatically. And instead of the maintenance window taking 3, 4, 5 hours in the middle of the night on a weekend, it would be basically an hour of where I would start the script, start watching Netflix, and come back every once in a while and make sure that it was progressing properly and finished without causing any issues. I still had the alerting system on to tell me if anything went wrong, but it didn't. It was great. So once I started to learn more about automation, and I'm still trying to, it's been incredible.
That's a really interesting point that you bring up. Like, as we all move to try to automate and move away from the manual processes that just kind of drag us down, is there anything that you say that you see being automated in the future, or a really interesting automated technology that you noticed recently?
Gosh, I don't know. Let's come back to that one now.
Yeah, that's fair. What about in general, like where you see the industry going or upcoming interesting technologies? Like, what is your prediction for something that we'll see in the future?
It's not really a technology, but we were talking about this earlier, how I think that basically all this infrastructure folks who decided we didn't want to go to the software development track. We wanted to go manage infrastructure, and we don't need to worry about code. We're going to be clicking GUIs all day. That's no longer the truth. We're all needing to learn how to code and how to automate things, and I feel like just as we have application developers now, we will soon have infrastructure developers. I believe that will be a title very soon. Not everybody's doing DevOps, but you still need a lot of those skills to work in infrastructure these days.
That is a good prediction. I'll see it popped up on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And you recently changed your job slightly, right? You went from being a customer to customer facing.
That's right.
What are some of the differences that you're noticing, or things maybe you didn't realize when you were in more of the back end role?
Yeah, so I used to be a customer. When it came time to purchase new gear to put in my data center, I would just go to the sales executive or systems engineer and say, okay, I'm getting ready. I just need to put together a quote for budgetary purposes. It doesn't need to be accurate. And just, turn it over, give it to me this afternoon or tomorrow. And going back to the other side and realizing how many steps there are to figure out what the architecture needs to be look like for a solution to make sure you're getting the right thing to a customer and that you have it right the first time. It's a lot more involved than I realized. And when I couldn't get just something from my SE really quickly and getting frustrated and not understanding why, now I'm that guy and I completely understand. And I need to probably go back and apologize to some people that I maybe gave a hard time several years ago.
Make amends.
Yeah, probably.
So as somebody who's interacting with customers, the words that we're hearing used more and more often, like containers, microservices, all these what seem to be up and coming technologies, are you finding that folks are really asking about them and using them, or is it still more of a theoretical concept?
It depends on where you live. The coast out here in California, out on the East Coast, they're on the vanguard. I'm in the Midwest, and people have heard of these. They don't really necessarily understand the use case. They need to know the why before they're going to get excited about these things. And so that's kind of the message we try to deliver whatever. It's why you need to automate, why you need to think about containers instead of VMs, things of that nature. So always be thinking about why, not just, is it cool? Let's do it. No, it's like, what's the use case? How is it going to help us?
That is such a great quote to end on. Always be thinking about the why.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you so much, Ken.
Thank you.
And for all of you, when you are ready to give your tech confession, please visit techconfessionstheshow.com.